Alright, 8 relays. Alright, Chapter 8 Relays. Relays are used for the automatic control of the auxiliary power generator system. A relay responds to electrical and other operating parameters and causes an abrupt change in the control circuits which measure value changes. A relay consists of a sensing element and a control element with a contact. Type of the relays. Relays used in switchgear include general purpose and protective types. General purpose relay functions are part of the regulation verification devices throughout the system, including primary mover. Industrial portions of the electrical system are energized, de-energized under normal and abnormal conditions by relays. Since the relays are usually used with a subsystem, equipment of the circuit breaker's overall operating plan must be electrically coordinated. Coordination is usually accomplished by designing the system circuitry with a selective initiate the opening and closing of the relays. Relays constantly monitor the power system. Overload relays are used to provide overload protection for the auxiliary motors when overload conditions occur in any three phases in which heaters are inserted, and it can cause the relay to trip. Time delay. Relays employed with a time delay purpose of the usually solid state type. The pneumatic relays may be still in use. Pneumatic relays use bellow types arrangement to provide time delay. They can adjust for the time periods of less than a second to several minutes. Solid state relays derive with a time delay with a combination of several electronic components. These are adjustable between fractions of a second up to several minutes. Voltage sensitive relays are used to decrease specific voltage. They provide output of a signal when the voltage passes the preset level. Protective relays. Protective relays detect, isolate, or indicate abnormal electrical conditions. Operation circuit breaker or other protective devices initiated by a relay are required. Some electrical hazards are protected against short circuit, overcurrent, and other under voltage, phase, and frequency irregularities. Relays installed with the protect generator stator ratings of the internal shorts of the overheating and sensitive faults within the generator do not respond to faults outside the generator. These relays act rapidly to prevent damage of the generator, isolate the generator from the system. Relay action include the de-energizing generator field winding. Protective relays are provided in the system when the reverse power flows occur. The relay operates the cessation of power reversal and the current impulse with the detect loss of synchronism. Protective relays include the following types. Overcurrent relay function when current flows exceed the normal desired value. Induction disk relays with time delay. Cup type relays without time delay are known as electromechanical type relays. Solid state relays are normally used more recently installed equipment. Overvoltage relays function as a voltage exceed the normal and desired value of the induction disk relay with a time delay. Cup type relays without time delay are used. Undervoltage relay functions of voltage less than normal desired value. Induction disk relay with a time delay may be used in the balance position between minimum and maximum voltage. Reverse power always function whenever the power flows in the reverse direction, normal or desired. These relays detect loss of synchronism. Under frequency relays function whenever the desired frequency becomes less than the normal value. The condition is usually resolved with a reduce of primary mover speed and may be caused by the primary mover, governor, or excessive electrical load. Differential relay function for the difference between two quantities of the same kind, such as two currents or 2 volts. Differential relays used to detect stator winding electrical failure responds to current percentage differences. If the current voltage transformer used different networks should be in match sets. Percentage differential relays are used to prevent relay operation from the faults due to the current transformer ratio error outside of the protected zone. In this application, overcurrent relays operate instantly where there is a short circuit but will not operate in current transformer. Secondary open contact of the two relays are connected in series. Current balance relay circuit breaker. Circuit monitors 2 or more current circuits provided with the output difference between the two exceed with the setting of the relay. Relay sends for the difference between the current of one generated current of another generator or average of all the other generators. Relay output may be used with the trip, bus, tie, contact, or split or parallel system to remove unbalance. Ground fault protection. Ground fault protection usually provided with a ground sensor relay measured for the sum of the currents of the lines of the load in the three-phase system. Another relay sometimes added with the transformer neutral to ground connection to the backup. Testing of relays. Periodic testing of relays considered with the preventive maintenance. Preventive maintenance program is built around records. Visual inspection includes analysis of the records. The frequency of the testing is independent of the variables involved with the type of the relay, environmental condition, history, and experience. The ambient operation temperature must be recorded. Most relays withdraw out the construction so that the relay can be separated from its enclosure. Disconnect the test. Repair is usually not required. Checking and test. To perform, determine the type of the relay. Proceed as follows. Inspect the relay cover for best testing. Remove the dust and other foreign material to prevent it from entering the relay. Record the inspection results. Check the relay flag indicator. Agent also check the cover of the glass for flogging. If flogging is successful, investigate the cause. Check all connection proper tightness is necessary with the tighten the proper torque value. Check the armature contact gaps. Compare the previous mechanism. Adjust the gaps if necessary. Refer to manufacturer instruction. Check contact burner or eroded condition. Burn is necessary and refer to manufacturer instruction. Refer to proper contact operation. Open, close contacts to observe proper trip, reload, close action. Refer to manufacturer instruction. Apply current voltage to verify pickup of the manufacturer tolerance. Reduce current until the relay drops out or fully resets. To verify there is no binding during the operation. Refer to manufacturer's instruction. Verify related devices such as capacitor function properly. Refer to manufacturer's instruction. Note different relays are usually very sensitive devices used in polarized sensing circuit. Repeat the pickup test. Use the second test with a comparison of the previous future test data. Refer to manufacturer instruction. 8.3 record keeping equipment system log sheets are important with the necessary function. Record keeping log sheets must be specifically developed to suit the auxiliary use. 8.4 troubleshooting. Perform troubleshooting procedure with the abnormal operation system. Equipment is reserved personnel. Maintenance personnel must then refer to the records with interpretation, comparison, and performance data log sheets. Comparison with operation should be made under equal and closely similar conditions of a low ambient temperature. General scheme of the troubleshooting is outlined in the following table. Alright, magnetic operated instantaneous type, faulty coil, installation coil current range, low trip action, shorted turns over the high trip, test coil, replace new coil if not found defective, mangle binding, dirt corrosion, and cleaning parts, assembled incorrectly, see manufacturer instructions. Magnet operated inverse time delay with the fluid too heavy, very too small, low temperature, low, change fluid, open vent, slightly regulate the temperature. Worn parts, replace and adjust. Fast tripping action. Worn, broken parts, replace and adjust. Fluid, too light vent, too large, and temporary too high. Change fluid, proper grade. Close the vent slightly. Repair. Regulate temperature. Check with the dash pots. Refill with flash fluid and proper top grade. Thermal type fail. The trip causing motor burnout. Wrong size heater. Check the rating of the recommendation instruction sheet. Mechanical binding, dirt corrosion, cleaning, adjust, relay damage, short circuit. Replace relay motor relay if different ambient temperature. Install motor control near each and other. Make temperature uniform both. Wrong trips at too low a temperature. Wrong heater. Check the rating of the manufacturer instruction sheet. Assemble the wrong see manufacturer instructions. Relay in a high ambient temperature. Install control closer to each other. Make temperature uniform. Fail to reset. Broken mechanism. Worn parts. Corrosion. Dirt. Replace all broken parts. Clean and adjust. Install new relay. Alright, Chapter 9, Miscellaneous Devices. Miscellaneous devices include the control switch, push buttons, indicating lights of the battery, surge capacitor, lighting arresters, maintenance tool, testing equipment and fuses, control switches and push buttons, switchgear related control panel contained with the complete control of all the functions, auxiliary generator equipment, and control of voltage regulation, phase adjustment, current compensation, engine operation parameters, as well as engine start, stop, running speed, battery charging, brightness, dimming indicator lights are usually provided. Indication lights when indicating light with the colored cap of the U that show the breaker position. Indicate lights indicate the open breaker, red lights indicate closed breakers. White lights are used to energize the potential transformer to indicate the live circuit with some of the station's light. Include ambient and orange lights to indicate that the circuit has been tripped automatically. Low voltage lamps of the connected in series with appropriate resistors are used to reduce lamp size and glare. Red and green lights are usually wired so they energize with the trip coil of the breaker. Opening of the trip coil circuit is indicated with a dark unit unlit lamp. Similar indicating lights and color code caps are used to indicate normal abnormal conditions of the current functions of the system. Alright, your batteries. Storage batteries and battery systems are frequently part of an auxiliary power system. Batteries are used as the primary mover with a cranking and uninterpretable power source system. Batteries maintain a charge throughout the application of floating battery charge. Battery discharges energy with the charging increase with the charging rate with increased flow of the current into the battery. The converse is true. As the battery reaches full charge, very small current flow into the battery. In addition, batteries provide power switchgear control with the power to trip some circuit breakers. Most application auxiliary power use some form of wet lead acid battery. However, some systems use dry nickel cadmium batteries. Both types of batteries produce direct current repeatedly by chemical reaction. Batteries must be recharged after each use to restore the power. What cell batteries repair scheduled maintenance. This includes visual inspection of all cells, weekly hydrometer reading of the sample of the cell, monthly readings of floating voltage, water level, the hydrometer temperature of each cell. Cell connector must be kept clean, tight to prevent high heating due to resistant voltage drop. Tops of cells must be kept free of dirt, of conductive materials. Changing area must be exhausted to preventing hydrogen buildup and explosion. Alright, your surge capacitor, sub-absorbing capacitor is sometimes used with or without lightning arresters. Modified shape of the surge value, voltage wave. These capacitors operate at 240, 480, and 600 higher single three-phase operation. Capacitors form individual units connected in parallel and are sometimes used. Fused circuit breakers or time characteristics used to prevent rupture. Capacitors cases, several distance safety precautions must be observed working on capacitors. Surge capacitor polychloride bethanol may still be used. Refer to Table 4, FR 761. Polychlorinide biethanols are carcinogenic and non-biodegradable. Some restrictions over there apply. Special handling of the polychlorinide biethanols are used in equipment. The polychlorinide biethanol power solvent. 9.5 Lightning arresters. Lightning arrestor protective device limits the voltage caught with the lightning strike path of the relay. The current surge to the ground system absorb the most likely striking energy. Overvoltage condition can be caused by the fault of the electrical system. There are two general systems of arresters: designs, valve type, and explosion type. The valve type has one or more sets of spark gap series connected with established spark over voltage, interrupt the flow current with preventing high current flow. Explosion type has an arc extinguishing chamber in series with the gaps interrupt the power frequency current, which flows after the gaps have been sparked over. The design refinements include using oxide film contained with the components, anti-sealing inner components with a chamber filled with inert gas. Aluminum cells are used sometimes. 952 Installed lightning arresters. Certain can retain lethal electrical charge. Accordingly, lightning arresters must consider loaded with a full circuit potential unless disconnect with the circuit and ground from circuit and ground. Special maintenance tools. Always use the proper tool for the job being done. Avoid using improvised tools and tools from poor condition. Sure tools not in using properly. The handle tools include following: screwdrivers, pliers, wrenches, and wire insulators, strippers, wire cutters. Power hand tools include the following: hydropneumatic and electrical, using electrical tool, battery power with a double insulated. Make sure the tool is line corded with the ground conductor, polarized ground plug. Make sure the receptacle is to be used and proper grounded. Machining tools and grinding wheels, cutting tools. Test equipment before using any test equipment to make sure that it is valve calibrated. Certification. Test equipment referred to the switchgear. Maintenance usually includes many and all the following items: multimeter, sometimes called the volt milliammeter of the voltage. Milliammeter is a single test instrument that numbers the different ranges measuring voltage, current, resistance. Voltmeter instrument used for the measuring voltage scale to indicate for the microvolts, millivolts, volts, and kilovolts. Ammeter instrument used either a voltmeter or an ammeter. Ohmmeter instrument used for the measuring resistance, consists of a DC millimeter ammeter, DC source, and resistor network. Ammeter instrument measure for the amount of the current amperage, and the meter show with the current value of the microamp, milliamperes, kiloamperes. Frequency meter instrument with the measuring frequency of an alternating current sequencing in hertz cycles per second, kilohertz, kilocycles, and megahertz, megacycles. Watt meter instrument with measuring electrical power with a scale that usually graduated in watts and kilowatts. Mega ohm meter device, high range ohm meter, sometimes referred to as a mega, and consists of a hand driven, motor driven power, battery driven generator as a DC source, and a meter used to measure insulating resistance and other high resistance can be checked using for continuity grounds and short circuits. Electrical analyzer instrument measuring the various parameters of the AC circuit that consists of the voltmeter, ammeter, wattmeter, power factor meter. Analyzer include the two current transformer switches necessary for use and can be used for testing installation. Certification. Test equipment should have a valid calibration certification. Fuse detecting circuit overload conditions open when there is too much current flowing. Fuses are safety valves. Installation equipment. Electrical equipment provided the most economical type of the circuit break protection. Hard application. There are many types of fuses with the various characters. Although various fuses, whether now a replacement unit, the proper type with the rating of the before installation, Never arbitrarily replace one type of fuse with another fuse within the same physical size just because it fits a fuse holder. Fuses should have the correct current voltage rating, proper time delay with the current limiting the character for the adequate interrupting rate, aiding to protect the circuit. The ends component of the fuse holder should never be altered and forced to accept fuses when they not fit. Construction fuses consist of two main parts: a fusible link with enclosure, housing, or body. The link of the metallic alloy melts except for the current flow through it, thereby creating the breaking in the circuit. The current heats over the alloy to the melting point with the links breaks and the arc forms the metal continuous rapidly until the resulting gap of the two wide for the arc to span, and finally usually can be applied to carry a 100% load indefinitely will blow specified time at 150% overload. Following fuses types are used. Alright, current limiting fuses. Current limiting fuses are used if necessary to limit the amount of faulty energy flowing through a fuse, and the circuit of the fuse must be clear of fault with less than 1.5 cycle, less than an amp per half cycle with the faulty current sin wave to be considered. Current limiting fuse with a faulty current with allowed to flow with a percentage cycle more than maximum peak fault current is passed through the fuse, and the current limiting fuse may be quickly limited energy limiting led through the fuse to the protected circuit. The total clearing time of the fuse is made of the two components, melting time and arcing time. Faulty current reaches maximum at the conclusion melting time, most less than that one quarter cycle arc established inside of the fuse with the inclusion of the melting time arc presence is high resistance flow of the faulty current, with the current decay at zero, clearing the fault whenever the possible de-energized fault holders circuit breakers before removing and installing a fuse. Metal enclosed fuse. Fuse enclosed with oil-filled metal housing used at 75 up to 7,500 volts, protecting transformer, bank, and other distribution elements. Refer to manufacturer literature detail. Glass enclosed fuse. Fuse enclosed with glass tube filled with arc quenching liquid carbon tetrachloride with liquid frequently used. Refer to the manufacturer literature for details. Explosion fuse. Fuses enclosed with a fiber tube filled with a dry powder boric acid. Fuse element blows with the boric acid to produce the gas, which aids promptly deionizing the arc used in circuits up to 138 kilovolt. Refer to the manufacturer literature for details. 9.7.11.3. Check the examinations. Examining fuel terminals, holders, discolorization, cause of heat, poor contact, and or corrosion. Check to be performed and determined by the type of the fuse and the fuse holder. Protecting proceed as follows. Inspect fuse and fuse holder. The contact surface of the pitting and the burning in alignment with the spring pressure. Preferably pitted burned components must be replaced. Examine the fuse unit with the renewable element of the fuse type as used for corrosion. Check for signs of discharging tracking of the fuse. Replace with the components to show deterioration. Verify all the attaching parts with the installed with tight and proper torque value. Check the fuse tubes made of fiber or other organic material. Refinish the fuse tube that is required for the manufacturer's instruction literature. Check vented explosion fuse. Some of the fuse condensers, mufflers restrict explosion of the gases during operation. Drop feature of the automatically disengaged fuse with operators may be used. The fuses usually have the seal to keep moisture out of the interrupting chamber. That refer to manufacturer literature instruction. Replace fuse holders, clips, and as worn and make poor contact. Remove the oxidation, corrosion, fuses, holder, and clips. Determine the cause of the overheating and correction as required. 9.8. Synchroscope. Synchroscope is usually installed with a switchgear control panel used to determine the different phase difference with the degree of synchronism of two alternating current quantity of the two generators. Synchronism always indicates the condition of the incoming machine with respect to the bus. If the frequency of the incoming machine is higher than the bus frequency, synchroscope points out the revolve of the fast direction. Frequency of the incoming machine is lower than the bus frequency. Synchroscope pointer revolves to the slow direction. The pointer stops at a position other than 0 degrees, indicate that the incoming machine is at the same frequency as the bus at the bowed phase. Correct the phase area with adjusting the primary mover governor. Incoming machine higher speed. Synchroscope pointer should revolve slowly with a fast direction. Machines are paralleled when the pointer reaches 0 degrees position will travel in the fast direction. When parallel, the pointer will stay at 0 degrees for the manufacturer literature for specific operation, inspection, information, and individual equipment. And that completes the reading of Introduction to Switchgear and Auxiliary Power Systems. Testing.